Hello, welcome, good morning, good evening, wherever you are joining from. Thank you so much for joining us for the Sisters in Solidarity Network Reentry Webinar Learning Series, Part 3. And this is our final webinar for this series. So just wanting to thank y'all for joining, whoever has been in part one, where we've talked about family reunification with Restore Her, as well as part two, where we've also talked about family reunification, but having a different insight, which with Rich Family Ministries. And this series, for folks that are just joining us, welcome everyone. I see folks are signing in for this series that folks are just joining us. It amplifies the leadership of formerly incarcerated Black women who are shaping what culturally affirming, gender responsive, and trauma informed reentry should look like. And for folks that may not know, my name is Tanaj Moody. I am the Director of Capacity Building and Learning at the National Black Women's Justice Institute. And we are a Black women-led national nonprofit that leads research, capacity building, and public education to advance healing-centered policies and practices that dismantle pathways to criminalization and confinement and ultimately increase opportunities and safety for Black women and girls who are directly impacted by the criminal and juvenile legal systems. And so many folks may know that with the Sisters in Solidarity Network, we are also launching this year our Sisters in Solidarity Network Reentry Toolkit. So, this webinar series that we've been having over the past couple of weeks is helping to supplement this toolkit, which is a practical resource specifically for reentry providers, advocates, policymakers, and community organizations. And more importantly, this reentry toolkit has been developed in partnership with Sisters in Solidarity Network members themselves as well, and women from all across the country who are Black women, who are women leaders in this movement and directly impacted. And so many folks may know that from the other webinar series that we have hosted, each of these webinars have really touched on a different component and a core pillar that is within our reentry toolkit. That is through research, lived experience, and actionable strategies. And so some of those guiding principles, like I mentioned before, like what we touched on was around the family reunification aspect of things. Some other core principles that are important to note within this toolkit are gender responsive, community led, abolitionist informed, culturally affirming, and trauma informed. And so for today's conversation specifically, we are going to be focusing on culturally affirming practices. And the way that we have been defining this within this toolkit is that we would like for reentry providers to understand and know the purposes and the importance of uplifting the identity, practices, and the history of Black women and girls in their reentry services. And so, what this means usually, culturally rooted modalities like storytelling, ancestral traditions, which are really creating spaces visually and verbally that ultimately are reflecting and affirming Black womanhood. And so today's conversation is going to be integrating and talking more about what that looks like actual practice. And we're going to be focusing on that and really touching on what that looks like within organizations that are currently doing that work. And so I'm really honored today to be joined by the one and only Dr. Marilyn Jones, who is the founder and executive director of Because Black is Still Beautiful. And this is an organization dedicated to building pathways to liberation for Black women and girls. Dr. Jones has over 2 decades of experience, y'all, conducting academic and professional research with formerly incarcerated men and women, as well as teaching within this population. And also to add, she has quite a few publications that I'm going to mention here, and we'll also share with all of you in our post email and in this chat here, publications including The Missing Link, which we'll talk about more today, an intergenerational kinship program for formerly incarcerated Black women and girls, published in 2024, determining a critical framework for a model to improve outcomes in the lives of Black women with histories of incarceration. This was published in 2023. The Comeback Queens, seeking to understand Black women's transition from incarceration to education. And this was published in 2019. And also, there's more, y'all, from crack to college and vice versa, published in 2013. Dr. Jones' experience and her expertise, passion lie in developing and implementing programs, training sessions, and other model frameworks designed to really inspire and improve outcomes in the lives of Black women and girls with histories of incarceration. And this woman is phenomenal. Dr. Jones holds a bachelor, right, in health education, a master's in adult education, and a doctorate in educational leadership at San Francisco State University. In addition to her professional and her academic experience, Dr. Jones is offering her wisdom with us today, has over 25 years of life experience in the juvenile and adult criminal justice systems. And so y'all are in for a lot of gems. Take your notes, get your pens, your notepad, whatever it is, get ready. We are so excited for her to join us today in conversation. So, welcome, Dr. Jones.
Thank you for having me. I'm really honored to be here to talk about this important topic. I want to say my connection to this topic is and it's going to become important as we go on when I answer another question. But as a young girl, I grew up in a neighborhood in San Francisco. It's called the Western Addition. Fillmore, they also call it that, but we call it Fillmore, the Black population. So I'm from Fillmore, and it was an all Black neighborhood. It's not that anymore, with all Black businesses. And you didn't say hi back then. You just Black power. That was hi.
Mm,
You get what I'm saying? That's how you say what's up. Instead of saying what's up, it's Black power. In my school, the elementary school, it was a Black Panther headquarters in the neighborhood. So it was very influential. And in my school, we had to sing the Black National Anthem every morning. Swahili was the second language that they taught.
okay.
They had African dancing. So I was exposed to, I would say, culturally affirming activities on 10. That's
Mm,
my background. It's in me, not on me. That's how.
mm.
Okay.
Is in me, not on me.
Mhm.
Love that. And as y'all can see and as y'all can hear, we have picked the perfect person to lead this discussion. Dr. Jones, can you tell us a little bit about Because Black is Still Beautiful? What inspired you to found this organization? And, how does this mission of your organization reflect the importance of culturally affirming services for men and women returning home?
Okay, I'm gonna get a little vulnerable here and tell you a story. The true
Okay.
story. It was anger.
Mm,
I was going to community college. Well, I had just not just came home from prison, but had about a year and something home. And I decided I wanted to go to college. So I started taking classes. I did well. And then I said, okay, I want to help people. So I got introduced to social justice classes. And I was appalled by the language that was used for Black people.
mm.
All deficit based. I wasn't, like I say, that's why I told you about my upbringing. We were taught we were beautiful. So I was too late to come with all this language. So the straw that broke the camel's back is my instructor got up. So I'm fresh. This is reentries. That's why I'm telling y'all about this. Okay. I'm
Mhm.
fresh home. The instructor got up And she said, I understand that I'm privileged with my fair skin. So I've never heard anything like that in my life. Her spirit rubbed my spirit the wrong way. She didn't say it as if it was something she was ashamed of. You know, it felt like it was something that she was proud of. And then
Mhm.
so what happened was, I looked down at my arm and it's nowhere near fair skin. And then that's
Mm.
when my mind clicked back to what I learned in the 70s about myself. So this is after prison and everything else. It mind clicked back to what I was taught. And I said something back to her. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I just told her that the privileges of having melanin and how my skin don't wrinkle.
Mm.
Anyway, and so the whole class looked at me. I was in trouble, right? But I'm fresh out of prison. I'm not carrying. It's not that type of trouble that I couldn't get out of, right? It wasn't nothing illegal.
Right,
So
right.
I just whatever. I sat back. But I knew I had did something wrong. Taboo. I'm not gonna say wrong, right? So that evening when I got home, there was a long email from that teacher, and basically she said, I don't remember all of it, but I know one thing she said was maybe this is not for you. And being the soldier that I am, that made me stay because I was ready to drop out. I couldn't stand the way they talked about us, right? So
Mm.
she figured out that I was gonna stay, and I guess she said you can't beat her, join her. So they started recruiting me to do stuff in the class, which was that was smart to do stuff in the classrooms. You know, so I made presentations about Black women and HIV because we was the fastest growing group for HIV. That was my focus at the time.
Okay.
And then I also did stuff in the community as well. And so I made a flyer, right? And it said, "Attention, Black queens." I'm not sure I would have said it in the middle, but at the end it said, "Because Black is still beautiful." So
Mm.
that statement was my response to that deficit-based language at the college.
Mm.
I was in resistance, like I was resisting that whole process, right? So that's what that was. And so I was just realizing now that that is the affirmation.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? So that was the reason why. That was the because, and still meaning that what y'all saying is not the whole thing. You don't have the whole story. You're not giving me the whole story. And I also one more thing I noticed is that we were supposed to be able to be talked about like that, but we
Mhm.
can't talk about white people. And so never did we in my whole history of from community college to the doctorate in these social justice place spaces did we discuss them. So that
Wow.
reminded me of white supremacy, right?
Wow.
So that's what I was feeling like when they were talking. And maybe it was it no, it wasn't. It was terms like invisible. There's
Mm.
that how I'm invisible if you can see me, and how my voice is if you can hear me. You just give me all these derogatory names. It's not even accurate, right?
Mm.
Powerless. I'm not powerless either. We powerful people. If I say anything too much in this class, they damn near be in tears. So how I'm powerless,
Mm.
you know? So it's like I fought the whole time, but
Wow.
but it's a good fight, I guess. You know,
Yes.
I'd rather hang on to that brainwashing I got as a baby than to keep on taking on all those. Uh, it was just like weird. You're a second class citizen. You're supposed to be able to be critiqued all day. That's how I felt,
Mhm.
and never say anything we do powerful. So that's how it started from me being
Mm.
disgusted with community college. Yeah, so that was it. That's my answer to that question. And how does the mission reflect? That's the whole thing. It's hard for me to answer that question because that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are beautiful people. We do need things, but
Yeah.
we are beautiful people. And I, my goal is to inspire us because I know what's not inspiring. And I'm saying that story I just said to everybody because I know a lot of people here, um, and even like in my uh, work now, I'm working with an organization, and they were saying that how they noticed the Black girls drop out when they start talking about uh, the disparities.
Mhm.
I noticed the same thing when I was going to school. The Black people was dropping out. I had that lady not told me time to go. I'm like, put me out. So if
Mhm.
she wouldn't have said that, I would have been gone. So we have to be careful how we teach about this, trying to wake everybody up. Because if I'm coming from the projects, that kind of language, I don't need that. That's not
Mm,
empowering for me. That's not affirming for me. For you to talk about your privilege with a twinkle in your eye and your chin up high.
mhm,
You know, it's not
mhm,
impact. You have to understand. We have to think about when we teach about disparities. So sometimes the way the Black Panthers figured out how to teach about them, and I can be beautiful too. So I
mhm.
don't know how we can do that again. Maybe we don't have to go. We don't have to do it. Whatever. I'm not gonna say extreme because that's what they be saying. But what I'm saying is other ways to teach about disparities than just knocking you over the head with over and not saying anything positive or which is also true. Just as true.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think you hit the head on the nail right there because it's, when we're talking as we're sharing about culturally affirming practices, it's rooted in uplifting the identity and the history of Black women and girls, right? And because Black is still beautiful is such a bold affirmation and an empowering affirmation, and it speaks for itself, right? Because Black is still beautiful. And the name of your organization, I think, and I believe, not think, I believe, reflects the importance of culturally affirming services, which is
Yeah.
about like uplifting the identity of Black women, right? And their histories. And so thank you so much for sharing the story around what has inspired you around that.
One thing I want to share on that.
Mhm.
So initially my thing was HIV, but when I went on to get a bachelor's degree, right? And well, I went on more times than that, but back in the story. And the teacher made an announcement that incarceration was a public health issue. And so I
Mm.
changed my topic from HIV, not because I was trying to fight because of incarceration, but because I thought I was going to get straight A's and I wouldn't have to read that much because I knew about going to jail. So that's how it changed. And then I started reading. And I'm like, oh wow, learning more. But it wasn't for it's like most of my life, everything that has happened, it wasn't something I set out to do. So it's like that's how it is
Mm.
when you're in purpose. You just stumble upon your purpose. You know.
Yes. Oh, and when you say stumble, I think that's interesting because I'm like, when I think of purpose, I'm like, I think of it being divinely orchestrated,
Hmm.
right? And in the higher powers timing,
Hmm.
and walking in that, which you absolutely are. And from what you have shared so far around like your mission and the story around because Black is still beautiful really helps to set the stage for how your work has really helped to reshape what ultimately reentry support should look like, feel like, and sound like. And I really want to start to touch on some of those publications that we were sharing earlier in the introduction today. And so, for some folks that may not, excuse me, may not know, you developed the Aramenta approach, right? And as a social, emotional, and culturally affirming model for Black women who have been impacted by the criminal legal system. Can you share how this was created and also like what inspired its name, right? And the core principles that really guide this approach?
Okay, so the Araminta approach, Harriet Tubman's birth name was Araminta Ross, and she's my oh, I thought somebody was asking me more. That's the chat. Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
hungry.
so we're gonna share for folks,
Okay,
everyone that's in here, we're gonna be sharing each of her publications in the
that was
Zoom.
Harriet Tubman's birth name. But here we go. We got another story because I stumbled upon this as well. So as you know, I don't know if everybody knows on the call, but when you get a doctorate, you have to go defend it. For you have your write your stuff all up, your whole little research, whatever, your literature review and all that stuff. It's 100 and some pages. You got to go put it in front of a committee, right, of 3 people. And so I've defended it. One of the 3 people happened to be my first cousin, who was a doctor, which I thought I had it in the bag because she was one of them, right? And she was very supportive. So I did. So at the end, she started asking me questions. This is my mother's sister's daughter. Okay. She started asking me questions. And she said, well, it seems like this gender responsive stuff kind of is Eurocentric. right? And I said, yeah, somewhat, right? And she said, what do they have for Black women? And
Mm.
I said, there's a gap. You know, I almost cursed, sorry. You know that they always say that at the end of research studies, there's a gap.
Mm.
So I thought I was going to be able to say that, right? She said, oh, no, no. We don't leave gaps for our people. Go fill it.
Mm.
They gave me a conditional doctorate, and I had 6 weeks. It was like the 13th hour. I ain't lying. So I just like, and I ain't have no literature to tell me. It wasn't no literature about Black women. The ones they had, it wasn't written by us, and they had that Monique Morris stuff push out, but they was little girls. There was nothing for when we grew up, right? So I'm like, what I'm gonna do? So what I had to do, I had to go to bed, but literally, and get it out of me. It was in me. I had lived that life, right? So I had to just give it to God. I'm not gonna lie, I prayed because I was ready to get out of that school.
Mm.
Tired of it, you know. And so, and then in the middle of the night, thoughts would come to me. I hop up out of my sleep and start. So the first thing when I was doing my dissertation, I already had it, was the thing I ran across called the Strong Black Woman Schema. So I used it as a theoretical framework. A theoretical framework is basically what you draw meaning from,
Okay.
right? And it was kind of different from me. I felt a little leery about doing that because all the literature I read about the Strong Black Woman Schema talks about how it leads to shorter lifespans and poor mental health outcomes. But I had all the characteristics. And I was lived in the projects for 20 years, and with my neighbors, I could see it all in my neighbors and everything. I said, okay, I didn't mention this part that one of my professors told me to look and find myself in the literature. Now, I've been to prison 5 times, I couldn't find it. So I had to find it in me to write something, or I wasn't going to graduate, you know what I'm saying? So I had to really go with and have faith, you know? So I did the Strong Black Woman Schema, and then one morning I woke up and I said, I said, something missing. It was what I call a desire assessment. 'Cause I
Mm.
always do needs assessments. And they always tell me what I need, and you don't even know what I need because I'm grown and I don't want to be like you. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
and it's obvious because the programs are not working for me, right?
Mm.
Still the hardest hit. We have all these interventions and evidence based stuff, but the evidence showed that I'm still the hardest hit.
Mm.
So I don't go by what they say evidence based, but I look at a body count that beats whatever you're saying to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm not stupid. It's like there's some things I go for, but when we got a body count, I'm not worried about what you're talking about. I'm trying to do something else, you know? So
Mhm.
that's what I came up with, the desire assessment. I said, that's what they don't know. That's what diversity lies. It's not my skin color, because you can walk around school and act just like them. No, it's what I want that's different. I want to be able to laugh loud. I might want to break it down to the ground and dance. That might be what I want to do.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
maybe you don't think that's appropriate, right? But this is what I want to do. So that's what I went by, what we want. So I did my best myself. And then after that, I came up with principles based upon those desires. Some of what we want is detrimental to our health, right?
Mm.
To be able to do it all, right? And it's a burden. It's a burden of strength that America put on us, you know? So some of what I wrote for the American Mental Approach is try to like balance that out. But I didn't set out to eradicate it because it's hundreds of years up underneath that.
Mhm.
You only can get in where you fit in, you know? So a lot of research, they talk about it, strong Black woman schema, and how it leads to this. But if you're really working with something, you got to accept it and work with it. If
Yeah.
it's there, I can't take it away. So
Can you share a
I,
little bit about some of those principles? Could you
it's
give
like
it
43. It's a living document. We'll be on here all day long.
maybe
And
like one or
I do all the
two?
training. So it's 43. So let me see. I can I share? It's like 43. Which one would I want to share? I should have took it with me. There's so many. There's one that says respect for the matriarchal component in the Black community.
Mm.
And so, and I want to say some things you may know, but I can't do it off top like that because it goes across.
Got you.
You get what I'm saying? It starts with this. So basically, I like one of the characteristics of the strong Black woman schema is that she seeks to be a not the exact word, but a phenomenal caregiver, right?
Whoa. I
Take
love
care
it.
of everybody, and then
Yeah.
just and that sounds good, and it's good for everybody else but us,
Mm.
right? And then you look at the desires associated with it. And then there's a column I said, well, how to work with that.
Okay.
What might be helpful. So it's like maybe some tips, like you could, like they often say we hard to reach, so that can help eliminate some of that. If you know, um, anyway, I got caught off. I'm going way deep in this tea. Okay,
No, it's okay. This
yeah,
is really helpful. I know it's, and also, Dr. Jones, you're getting a lot of love in the chat, by the way, from folks who are saying that they're a huge fan. Megan Comfort said, I'm a huge fan of Dr. Jones' amazing work. She provides a multi-session training for our research team on the Aramenta approach, and it was incredible. I highly recommend her for trainings. Her wisdom is transformational. That was from Megan Comfort, put in the chat box there for you. So, for folks, there's so much more, like as Dr. Jones was just sharing around this approach, but just to give you kind of give everyone like a snippet.
I want
Yeah,
to
go
say one more thing. When I graduated from the university um, with the doctorate, I sat back for a minute and some said go back and look at that again because I put it away. That was just for school supposed to be. So I looked at it. I said, I think I'm on to something. But they didn't understand me at school. They used to say I was a unicorn because I wasn't supposed to be there. You get what I'm saying? So nothing was made for me there, right? I'm only formerly incarcerated. I'm the oldest and all kind of stuff I had going. But then it's funny. God made it to where that was the first predominantly Black cohort, the one I was in that year.
ahead.
So I forget what I was saying. Go ahead. I missed it.
No, it's okay because I think what we're leading towards is really around educational empowerment work, right? Like, and that's part of what you have been sharing. And when you said unicorn, I love that you said unicorn because I think that really speaks to it was like I'm not doing things the traditional way, right?
Yeah.
Because the traditional way hasn't worked. Even like the needs assessment, right? Like I'm going to do a desire assessment rather and showing the importance of that, right? And I want to really touch on the educational empowerment work and specifically really focusing on 100 degrees. And so we'll put, which is another publication we shared about earlier. And so 100 degrees for folks that may not be aware of, 100 degrees is a culturally affirming program. Um, as part of Because Black is Still Beautiful that promotes academic engagement and retention for Black women who have overcome tremendous obstacles, including incarceration and addiction. So, Dr. Jones, can you share with folks here on the call today and talk a little bit about how this program works? Why is it culturally affirming? And how does it contribute to these broader goals around healing and systematic change?
Well, it's a story to that too.
I
Because I
love
changed my
stories. We
life,
start
because
with
I
a
changed my
story.
life, I became like this the project and academic ambassador. Okay. And long story short, we got into the recession and Black folk, my whole block was gone. I couldn't get a job anywhere. So the voice said, take the job off the computer. I wrote this program in my master's program. And that was I was thinking like, what can I do? Right? What is so I have the gift of encouragement. I learned that in prison. It's another
Mm,
story. But I have the gift of encouragement.
I love
So
that.
I just started. That's another reason for because first because Black is the Beautiful wasn't a necessity. It wasn't a more volunteer like. This I'm like, okay, I need a job. And the only thing I know how to do, and I know one thing I do is everybody knocks on my door and I help them apply for financial aid and stuff like that. I was very influential in the community because they knew me as a drug addict, right? And then they
Mhm.
knew me as going to college. So when you change like that, right before everybody's eyes, you become like the Black people gonna put you to work. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna do some things now that you went to school, right? And they're gonna ask you a lot of stuff. And so I became like the person about college. So I took that and I started doing things at City College in San Francisco, doing like holiday events and then all the whole time I'm like, this job is not really a job. People call me about getting educated because I go to school. So I figured out a way to make it a program. We do
Mm.
what I thought was most important was the academic. I do the most important things is writing, what's the most problematic for us is because the translation, teachers don't like to translate. And they think because we may speak with slang, or in us too, we speak with slang, or that we might not be intelligent, but it's not that I'm not intelligent, I haven't been exposed to that language. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying?
Yes, exactly.
It's not like, and then they don't, I don't know if they don't want to, but they rather use big words than just breaking it down for people that may not understand those big words. For
Right.
every big word, so what I do, I specialize in, I can create the bridge. I can take it to hood terms for you. I don't care how complex it is. I can explain it to somebody in the project. If I can't explain it to somebody in the project, then it's not then I'm there's no need of me coming to school.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's
Mm-hmm.
not just for me. I'm supposed to be able to translate, because most of them not gonna be there, right? So I translate in hood terms, right? And they're like, what? And I'm like, they were like, the thesis, right? What's your thesis? I'm like, girl, how you feel about that? Right? That's the thesis.
Right, right. I hear you.
Right? I'm like, and they're like, what? Straight up. I said, it does sound like something scary, but just gotta you know, for the end, at the conclusion, you say the same things to the beginning, and then sock them with it at the end.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying? So
yes.
they'll start getting it. So I help with that. And then we had groups for social support, which is very important because of language and people, we even today, intimidated with speaking up, thinking you might not sound as
Yes.
intelligent as you need to sound, right?
Yes.
So I that's what we had. We assist with that social support. There's a
Wow.
light somewhere. I'm sorry. I gotta get it
No worries.
right in my face. Is that it?
We're also getting more love in the chat. I want to acknowledge people in the chat box here. So it looks like Trinis Bryant said, yes, I love her work. Purple heart emojis, fire emojis. Eric Lewis said, Dr. Jones has been an incredible mentor for my students at the City College. Because of Dr. Jones's impact, our students have gone on to transfer to San Francisco State and graduate school. Wow, 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 wow. So much love, Dr. Jones. And I know we do have some Q&A. So for folks that putting your Q&A, continue to put your Q&A in the chat. And if we have some time at the end, and if Dr. Jones feels up to it, we can address some of those questions. So I encourage you all to continue putting those Q&As in the chat. Dr. Jones, from what you were sharing, my understanding of what you were sharing around the 100 degrees is you're meeting people where they're at, right? Around this educational empowerment piece, meeting people where they're at and putting things, putting, I would say like these large concepts or these lots of words, if you will, right, into plainer terms that are able to understand, and you can have more of these like kitchen table conversations, if you will, right? It doesn't have to always be so academia based, right? Especially for our communities that may not have been exposed to that language in their childhood or may not have had that kind of environment around them. And so that is critical when it comes to culturally affirming practices like you were sharing. And adding to that, right? So you also address the stigma, like you're essentially addressing the stigma that is continuing to really shape reentry experiences. And I really want to touch on the missing link program that you also have. So you launched the missing link program, right? And so for folks that may not know, we'll also share that in the chat box for all of you. It's an intergenerational kinship pilot program, and it was in partnership actually with the Young Women's Freedom Center. And so I wanted to know, how do you feel that this program also reflects a culturally affirming approach to reentry? What makes its focus on kinship rather than mentorship so transformational for women to participate?
Well, you said what makes it culturally affirming. Just the whole program. It is. It's all us taking care of us. So I changed it now. It's multi generational because you know what? Every single time we meet, there are kids there.
Mm,
I never counted them before, but there always enough food for them. But I never like say that they're there, but they're there. There's three generations of people, right?
mhm.
Sometimes grandkids are there, but every time we meet, so it's uh young, it's girls and young women ages 14 to 24 and 44 and plus.
Okay.
Um, so far, all the people that were ages 44 and plus were directly impacted by the crack epidemic. That was not a requirement. So I want to say that yeah, I think that was the missing link. They
Mm,
are, yeah, because when things and why is it not a mentorship program? Because when we lost that generation, the black community went to hell. I saw it,
mm,
and we ain't never made it back. And now everybody has jobs when black women start going to jail.
wow.
You know, everybody. It wasn't like that. It wasn't no reentry and all that. But as soon as that came, all these jobs, when black women got hit, we couldn't protect. You know, we got to the point where we were the secret weapon, and we couldn't protect it. So that was them. They're missing. You know, and
Mm,
just having them with the youngsters, and the reason why it's not a mentorship program for I've seen people be made into poster people and relapse, right? And then it's about one thing about their mentor program. One of the principles, one of the huge one is reciprocity.
okay.
Don't make me your mentor. Please don't. Hey, we can be sisters, or what are you gonna be to me? I'm gonna need to call you because if something's going wrong, I should be able to ask for help. And that's one of the things too. Is I didn't tell y'all that when I came up with their mentor approach, I went and talked to 40 black women,
Mm,
make sure that I was just to make sure that I was doing the right thing. Right,
right.
like going with the strong black woman scheme and make sure it was in the conversation. 40 black women who had a history of incarceration. So no, five didn't. They were like impacted, whatever. But the most problematic thing for us is asking for help. People don't like us to ask for help. They don't like the way we ask for help.
Mm,
We're supposed to ask for help like we professionals or something. You know, but they talk about we better not move our head, we better not move our hands, we might be too excited. The crisis may not be too much, right? So this space that I created right here, you can ask for help.
mhm,
You get what I'm
mhm.
saying? Like that if you make a space where black women's comfortable asking for help, nah, it's beyond a safe space. So I was trying to think of the name, and then somebody told me, okay, sacred. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Mm,
One of the OGs, she like they didn't want to be called elders, but they was like she described it as blood of my blood, bone of my bone. It's like
mm,
when they hooked up, it's like something happened. They supposed to been hooked up, right? And I think that we can't always copy these people and group off our people into different categories and think we're doing something. Because I'm
mhm.
from in public housing, right? When we have water fights, it'd be from age 2 to 102 in the water fight. Okay, we enjoy the other age groups,
Yes.
right? So, but tend to be when our programs or the criminal justice system, they give up on the adults.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying?
mm,
We don't, they rather do our youth. They'll come to I got my mother of four at the time when I lived in public housing, but they'll come try to do stuff with the kids. Never spoke to me about nothing, but knowing I'm the most powerful person in the household, basically. So, the main thing with the it's not. It's I just create the space, right? Where and
yeah.
also the food. If you want to get to us, good food. Good food, not regular food, pizza and water like they tend to do with the reentry populations. We be eating gumbo and stuff like that. So we eat really, really good, right? And enjoy each other. So that kind of
Cool.
takes the barriers down. I learned that. So
Yes.
that's one
Breaking
tip.
bread.
Yeah, we're gonna yeah, it was good food though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we have really good food. I think that for me, trauma informed, right? Because I'm not a therapist, is being able to smile then. If you know they've been through a lot of trauma, I'm gonna try to make it where you can experience joy. That's
Yes.
trauma informed for me. I don't have
Yes.
to go to all that disparity stuff. And we do stuff called dream work, make you hopeful. You know what I'm saying? We trying to make everybody support one another. We can something I call dream work, where we talk about our purpose and and set long term goals, things that you would never told anybody else.
Mm.
A lot of times, you gotta be careful with that term, meeting us where we at, because sometimes when you black, they gonna place you somewhere that's not where you should be.
Mm.
And if it was no racism, might can meet me where I'm at, but you got to use your imagination to put me in a place, right?
Mm.
So what I do is I just assume everybody's brilliant, and like you got to set the stage, and you're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh, I love
Say
that.
what you want to say here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ordinary.
I
We on
never
some
looked at it
brilliant
that
stuff.
way.
No, we on some brilliant stuff. If that's
Yeah.
and furthermore, what if the house is on fire? Don't meet me over there, girl. If you don't pull me up out of here. Sometimes I
Mm.
don't meet them where they're at. Sometimes they don't want to be. Sometimes they want to be a CNA.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes I say,
Wow.
girl, no. But Henry tell me pull pistols and told people to come on. When they
Mm.
try to turn around. So sometimes I can't meet you where you at because oppression it stunts your imagination,
Yeah. Wow.
right?
Wow.
If I
That's
meet you
intense.
over there, no, girl, we gonna go over here, right?
Yeah.
So that's what
Yeah.
you encourage them to go further. Like we gotta be careful meeting us where they at because when they said that kind of happened with that social justice language. Be
Mhm.
careful because when
Mhm.
they think about meeting black folks, you know they gotta place us there, right? So I might be brilliant and you just don't see it. So just assume that. And then everybody starts acting different,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? And you get to
Absolutely.
find out about things that people want to be that you would never heard before. Because
Right.
keep me where I'm at. I don't know that. I'm like, no, just because I can't speak whatever language you have going or whatever, I'm not gonna say proper English either. But because I haven't been exposed to language you want to hear does not mean I'm not brilliant,
That part. That part.
you know?
Absolutely.
So that
Yeah.
so I'm like we talk about gifts, we explore our gifts. And then one other thing too is even if it's not no mentors, whoever facilitate participates too. Right. So it's no big us, no you the facilitator might cry one day. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It has to be the space where everybody's equal, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Definitely.
and,
Mhm.
and then there's a lot of love there at the same time. So one thing I want to say is I'm really proud of this program. I am. I
Yeah.
don't really talk about stuff that much, but I when it comes to culturally affirming things, I like you gotta read responses.
Mhm.
You gotta read responses. If somebody's saying something, don't take it personal, alter it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Or either pump it up if it if so like well, I'm reading what they're saying. I'm like, I don't have the funding. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't have enough. But I'm reading what they're saying, and we respond to this multi-generational approach. To
Yeah.
where we do. And also I say I got it from it's also another tenet, but when I was in prison, I was a fighter and all this other stuff. My peers, when I was in my 20s and 30s, couldn't tell me anything.
Mm.
Them older women sit me down, and talk to me, and tell me, they like, come on now, and I listen. And that's what the youngsters are saying. They're like, if this was all youngsters, it would be something else. So when you
Mm.
put us together, but I gotta constantly remind them, look, you're not anybody's mentor. Cause we want to help you too. What do you need? Right. And then that changes the dynamic. Cause then the youngsters can help them. And
Yeah.
that's what we need too. You might say, oh, gee, whatever, somebody, she's having problems. There's a lifetime of problems with a criminal record, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
A lot of people, and especially comes up when you start getting older because you don't have a work history.
Yeah.
So you're more subject to poverty, right?
Mhm.
You can't catch up. So it might be things that you need to say out loud. And when you're somebody mentor, you can't do that.
Right.
So we have to be able to not mule ourselves out as black women. That's part of that strong black woman skin. Want to mentor everybody. Who mentoring you? You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? Somebody, I mean, one day she said, girl, oh, I've been looking for you, Dr. Jones. I've been waiting for you to put me under your bosom. I said, girl, I'm trying to fit up underneath yours. You know what I'm saying? We all need it. We
Yeah,
all need support. That's the village where
mm,
everybody gets support. It's
I
not,
love that.
so that's what I envision. So we doing a fourth cohort coming up like next week on 29th
Okay.
in San Francisco, and then we're gonna do one in LA.
Oh, this is exciting.
Yeah, we're going to LA. And so my desire is to do it in more cities across the country, raise some funds, and hopefully streamline the data and create a trail of hope.
Wow.
Culture affirming. Oh, I didn't tell you I do a lot of research too. For everything, I collect data. So
Yeah, I mean, I think it, based on some of the publications, we know that that may not be all of the publications. So definitely highlight in your research for sure. And thank you so much for sharing the importance of the missing link and also just, sending you so much success and
right.
abundance as you continue to launch in these different states. And so it is absolutely needed to be able to focus on that kinship, like we were saying, rather than that mentorship. And I loved what you also shared about the social justice term around meeting people where they're at. Like some people don't want to be met where they're at. We have to take them further than
Please
where
don't, girl. I'm
they're
over
at.
here suffering.
Yeah, and I think that right there is a huge gem that most people would not think about, even myself. So thank you for offering me that wisdom. Speaking of wisdom, Dr. Jones,
Mm.
as both a scholar of yourself, right, and someone with lived experience, you have been offering so much insight, right, and wisdom that some reentry providers might overlook or may not have thought about because they're not being exposed to it, right? Um, and so I would love if you can share what do you think that reentry providers often overlook when trying to make services more culturally affirming?
Us.
Mm,
I think that we have the it's gonna be controversial, but I'm gonna say it. The terminology people of
speak
color.
your truth.
Terminology people of color tends to it, eliminate us.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? So they can say that, and it might not be anything to do with us. So it's important that we have black work. I want to put that out there. I'm gonna say that it is
mm.
because with people will tend to uh, work with who they're most comfortable with,
Yes, that's
and
a
some
fact.
things that we can do for each other that nobody else can do. They don't share the same history, so we have something in us that is connected, right? That nobody else has, and we can heal each other, right? But I just think that it's okay to do black work.
Mm,
Without doing it, we're not gonna get what we need. We're not gonna get what we need. I've done
wow.
it. You know, it's funny. Like I'm getting a little bit emotional. It's like because I'm feeling like it's weird right out here in America right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's like I've had we are harder to reach. We're harder to impress. How about that?
Mm.
But you
Amen to
gotta
that.
put the work in. You gotta put the work in, right? When you want to work with us, you gotta be wholehearted. It
Yeah.
can't be something that you just stumble upon. I mean, you gotta be like really in it. I don't know how to say it better. And then I found out when I did started letting like making it like, okay, anybody can come. We weren't there anymore.
Mm.
The conversation has changed. Even in my research, I learned. I'll ask you a question: how does it feel to be a young person growing up in San Francisco, right?
Mm.
And I'll say, how's it feel being a young black person? The answer is totally different.
Totally different. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like we have to repress it when we're not in those spaces,
Mm.
right? You got to still hold on to some stuff. It's not appropriate to say it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just want to say that it's very, and then we love the fact that someone cares about us specifically,
Yeah.
and we do respond to that. I just think that we have to everybody like don't just do evaluations, spread the word if you know something works for us.
Mm.
Can't wait like for them to do it. A woman told me that they were 100 years behind criminal justice system. That's what she told me. Like what I was saying was too, yeah. She said they're 100 years behind. So in other words, in my lifetime, it's not going to happen. But it
Mm.
can if we start writing down stuff and sharing
Mhm.
it amongst each other. Like what you saw this improvement because we do improve. They want
Yes.
they want you to think the data and all the stuff they present is hopeless, but we improve. A lot of us get better. you know. And
Yes,
then
let's talk about it.
there are like frameworks or whatever that we can make or something to document that. How is it done? 'Cause we specialize in making comebacks and all
Yes,
that, you know. We just
yes.
don't write it down. We have to write it down because the way they got it set up is the research. It I don't know a better word, but it like forms everything,
Mhm.
everything, and they don't know, right? That's why it's important the stuff you doing. You know, it's important because right now the experts in this it's not including us. It's not.
Yeah.
When they say it's evidence based, sisters and brothers, they're not talking about us. They
Mm.
don't count.
Wow. Dr. Jones, again, like I just want to I'm like I'm over here like I'm also taking notes, y'all. Like I'm literally taking notes. And so I see other people have wrote in this chat as other folks are listening to you, Dr. Jones. You had a few folks in here said, Trinice Bryant, and apologies if I'm mispronouncing your name, but they said, please bring the cohort to Miami. Another person, Rosalind Calhoun, said, can you give the information to register for the next cohort? And I believe they are referring to, if I'm not mistaken, y'all, um, I think this, let me see, because I want to make sure we're all on the same page. Which cohort is this one? This is the one that you just had
In
share.
San Francisco, the one
Um,
in San Francisco.
I believe this is the missing link program, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, they in the city. Okay,
Say again.
I'm sorry, I said the city. I know y'all don't call it. It's the city to me. But are y'all in San Francisco in person?
Yeah, if y'all could put in the chat, like where in San Francisco are you based? And then Dr. Jones, if you have any information on how people can register or anything like that.
We see the thing is we don't. Okay, yes, it's in. Yes, it's the city. I'm a native. Yes, it is. Okay,
Okay.
all right. I'm a native too. Okay, so I don't know how. I didn't put my. Can I put my email address?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also y'all, we're gonna share everything post notes, but
Okay,
feel
cool.
free, Dr. Jones, feel free.
Okay, I'm gonna put my email address in here.
And then as you're doing that, you have a lot of other folks just showing you love. People are saying amen, hashtag wholehearted. Other folks are saying great insight. Thank you so much for all of your work. So much love and support for what you have been sharing, Dr. Jones. And let me know once you're done putting your email in there. And I want to follow up
There it
with
is.
just like a last closing question. Oh, perfect. Got
Okay.
it. So y'all in the chat box, Dr. Jones just put her email in there for y'all. So Dr. Jones, looking ahead, what's your vision? What's your vision for the future of culturally affirming services in reentry? What do you hope to see changes in how we serve Black women and men?
I think that we need those affirming services on the block, not
Mm,
just wait for you to go to jail to get it. It's some areas that the whole place needs. You know, I think that we got to be careful about separating people out because we're not solving anything if the whole block is going through something and you got to wait. So this is and I know this is reentry, and I'm not knocking reentry at all, right? But we don't want reentry, do we? That's not
mm-mm.
something we want, right? Okay. So what I'm saying is, if I lived in areas that the whole like it was funny, like when I got involved in this reentry stuff, I might have been the only one on the block that had been to prison, the female, but we all shared the same, and they were doing stuff, selling dope and doing all kind of stuff. They just hadn't went yet, not yet. But we had the same. We had the same issues,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like if you see an area is high crime, target the area because I gotta go home. I gotta go home there.
Yeah.
I have to re-enter to that neighborhood. So if the neighbor, you know what I'm saying? If you got more help in the neighborhood, put some things on the block that not on the block, but you know what I'm saying about when I say on the block.
I hear you. I hear you.
Improve the outcomes of where I have to go home to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think include more of us, It could be reentry prevention or whatever. I don't know, but we're all like, I'm not that different from you,
Mhm, mhm.
right? And if it helps me, I'm sure it might help my neighbor. I don't want her to have to go to jail, like to have to participate.
Right,
I
right.
had a young girl show up. I had a young girl show up, and she had never been to juvenile. And I'm looking, I'm like, that must have been a criteria. I could not tell her you're gonna leave. You're not eligible because you ain't went to jail.
Right.
So we gotta be careful with that. Just looking at what people go home to, and for reentry, and not being afraid. That's what I want to say to y'all. You can't be afraid right
Mm, mm.
now. You can't be afraid. You know, there are people that went to jail for us, and none of us have went so far, so we don't
Yeah,
have to be afraid. You know, many of us
yeah,
survived that too. You know what I'm saying? It's like right is right and wrong is wrong. Everything is not DEI.
yes.
Plus, it's black on black, so it ain't
Mm,
nothing wrong. At what point can I help myself? It's like this. I
mhm,
want to help ourselves. We gotta. It's okay to help ourselves. I think. I think
yeah,
I do know right from wrong. I've been in trouble a lot, so I know I'm not doing wrong. So if
yeah,
I'm not doing wrong, then it is what it is. Let it. Let the consequences jump off. Whatever it is. It's like,
yeah,
can I do about it? Do wrong or be abused? No,
yeah,
that's the other choice. To just do whatever people say that's not right, and it's not right,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I'm sounding like an OG now, like a granny. It's not
No,
right.
like, I'm getting wisdom, like, this is literally, like, this is amazing, and I know I'm not the only one who feels that, like,
Do the
it's
right
like
thing, y'all. If they take us to jail, we just got. You don't have to be funny. I don't think it's gonna be a life sentence. We've done it. I mean, it's not that bad. We're not. We're not. They have so many problems besides us right now. We got to do. What we got to do. This is like, dude, can you imagine our ancestors? They was in captivity, resistant. We're
Mhm,
still free
mhm,
right now. So
yeah,
it's like we can't be afraid. We can't be afraid right now.
mm,
We have to double down and love our people. We still need love. We got a lot of our people living in tents. They're
yeah,
getting dogged out. You know, and they need somebody to come forward and say some really positive things to them,
absolutely.
and that would be us.
Yes, kindness
Yeah,
is still very cool,
it's
like,
okay.
people like, it is okay to be
They want to
kind.
get into that bitter. I'm not bitter. I'm not that bitter. I'm just gonna do the right thing with the rest of my little
Right,
life. You know,
yeah,
because do the right thing, and if
yeah.
right is wrong, then that's too bad.
It's so funny because I heard, there was a speech that Lauryn Hill did, and she was talking about the difference between being right and righteous. Right?
Hmm.
And sometimes being right is really led by ego. It can be led by ego. And there's the difference of being righteous, which is really upholding more of like the divine morals, right? And so I think that really speaks to what you were just sharing. Looks like some folks in the chat from what you shared, Dr. Jones. Josephine Smedley said, I needed that. Thank you. Survived it all. We are still standing. No time for fear. Bitter is the narrative forced on us. Thank you for that, Josephine. So, Dr. Jones, I want to close us out with you've shared a little bit around, your upcoming cohorts with the Missing Link program. Are there any other amazing projects, campaigns, or opportunities that you'd like to spotlight and share with folks?
More so, I'm trying to fundraise for the program, but that's one thing. I'm looking for collaborators who want to help me research and start collaborating. Something else I want to say. Uh, what's coming up? What was I want to say? I forgot what I was going to say.
It's okay, take your time.
Um, Again, I want to say that. Oh, I think I said that. Oh, we do annually, but it's not coming up now. But annually, we do a Harriet Tubman Day. Um, I don't know if y'all know it. March 10th, I want to do a Black history lesson. That was what I wanted to do. March 10th is Harriet Tubman Day. George Bush Senior declared that in 1990. So we do things on it. So that's something to put on y'all calendar. Harriet Tubman Day. Um, is there anything else I'm doing? Doing some trainings, and I'm trying to. I got a workbook. I need to. I have it, but it's like it needs to be put together correctly. Yeah, but I'm ready to run this thing across. I'm 60 years old, y'all. So we got about 4 more years of
Black
jogging left.
Black
Yeah,
don't
acid. Yeah.
cry.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just trying to make it and stay above water and do what I'm supposed to do. You know, there's a time I didn't do what I'm supposed to do. I can't be sad and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Right?
Mhm.
That don't make any sense.
Yes. Oh, that part.
That's all I can do is what I'm supposed to do.
Mhm.
You know?
Mhm. Walking in your purpose, you
Yeah,
know?
we have purpose. We can't just. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Just do what you got to do. So
Mm. Dr. Jones, thank you so much from
thank
the
you.
bottom of my heart on behalf of the National Black Women's Justice Institute. Thank you for sharing your time with us, your
Okay.
story, your wisdom with us, and your leadership, right? Around the work that you've done with Because Black is Still Beautiful and just sharing some of your research, your best practices and dropping some gems for folks. I know that I learned a lot in the short amount of time that we've had with you. And so I hope that other folks have gained just as much. And for folks that are joining us, I see there's more folks in the chat box. We will again share Dr. Jones, all of her research and her publications with everyone post email, as well as her email. If there are other questions, Dr. Jones, that's okay with you.
That's fine with
Um,
me.
okay,
Fine
because
with
I
me.
know,
Everybody stay encouraged, y'all.
yes, ma'am.
Stay encouraged.
And oh, yep. And then there's the link, or putting the link in there for Dr. Jones' website too. And so just wanting to thank everyone for joining us for this reentry webinar learning series. Uh,
Thank you.
and we couldn't have had a better guest to close us out for this reentry webinar series. So thank you so much, Dr.
I
Jones.
closed it. I
Yes,
shut it down.
you shut it down. Mic
Okay.
drop.
All right.
Mic drop. So Dr.
Okay.
Jones has shut it down for our reentry
Down.
webinar learning series. In the meantime, you guys, I encourage you to continue to explore more about the Sisters in Solidarity Network on our website to learn more about the amazing work that Black women all across the country are doing and just to really be in community. And like I said, our Sisters in Solidarity Network Reentry Toolkit will be launching this year. And remember, this is a resource that has been built with and for formerly incarcerated Black women leading in this movement. And it's designed to give reentry providers, advocates, and policymakers, as well as community organizations, tools that they need to make reentry more equitable and focus more on healing that is effective. And so, thank you all so much again for joining our Reentry webinar learning series, and stay in touch and feel free to reach out to us if you guys have any questions. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much.